Hi guys, welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, we had a request. Somebody wanted an image to text and text to image version with a gradient background. We've done these before, but I thought I'd do a new one for you because they're very popular. So I've got a little image of this wizard fella right here. When I hover over, it's going to pop in with a gradient background and a bit of content here. And next door, we got it the other way around. We got an image and content here. And when you hover over it, it's going to pop into an image. So let's get started. And also what we've done today, because this will actually work fine on tablet and mobile also, but of course they'll have to tap on it to have this effect. So they know to tap on it. If I hit my F12 key and make this responsive, here it is on an iPhone 12. If I roll down, here's the actual image itself. We've got a little icon there so they know to tap on it. When you tap on it, it's going to change. You tap off of it, it's going to go back. Same with the one below. When you tap on it, it's going to change from the text to the image. And when you tap off of it, it's going to change back again. Works just as well on an iPad. If we go down here, got an iPad Air. Roll up a bit. There's our images. There's a little tap symbol. Let's make this bigger so you can see what's going on. Tap on it, changes. Tap off of it, goes back. Little symbol there. Same with this one. Okay, really easy to do. No coding involved in this today. So let's get started. I'm going to enable the Visual Builder. Once enabled, I'm going to go down and let's just delete this row. I'll start from scratch. Green tab for a row. Going to hit the little trash can. Going to add a new row. Little green button to add a new row. And I'm going to throw in 2 columns. I'm going to use a Blurb module for this today, but this will work with pretty much any module you choose. I'm going to pop it in. There's our little Blurb module. And we'll say image to text for the first one. I'll leave that content just as it is. I'm going to use an icon for mine today rather than an image. So I'm going to go to image and icon, flip the little switch on. And let's throw in an icon. Fantastic. If you want to link this to somewhere, you can do here. If you just want the title linked somewhere, you can put it in there. If you want the module to link somewhere, you can put it in here. Always best practice, if you're linking to your own site, keep it in the same window. If you're linking off-site, open it in a new tab. That way your site's going to stay open. Well, let's throw in a gradient background. Going to go to background here. Background's always under content. Second tab over is gradient. I'm going to hit to add a background gradient. I'll leave those default colors in there. I'll just slide this one sort of somewhere in the middle. And I'll add a new one. Just click to add a new one. Left click. And let's make this one blue. I'm going to leave it just like that. That'll do for our little gradient today. You can go to town with these gradients. I've got a whole video on them if you want to learn more about that. Okay, I want to pop that text into the middle, so I'm going to go to design. Firstly, I'm going to make that image, or that icon I should say, white in color. I'm going to make it a lot smaller. Make it 50 pixels or something. Obviously, do whatever works for you. Then I'm going to make that text white also and pop it in the middle. Just rolling down, we'll find the text just underneath. And the text, where it says text on its own, we'll do both the heading and the title together. I'm going to pop it in the middle. I'm going to make it light in color. And that's going to work for me perfectly. If you want to adjust them separately, you've got title and body text down below. And you can do all the usual things. Choose whatever font you want here. They've got a whole load. To audition one, just roll over. And there's, like I say, plenty of them there. I'm going to leave it as it is. I think I'll capitalize it, make it a bit bigger. Just to make it stand out a little bit more, let's throw a bit of text shadow under it perhaps. Fantastic. Well, I'm going to give it a bit of breathing space, and we really want this to be the shape of whatever image that we want. So to do that, let's close up this title text here, and we'll go down to spacing. And I'm going to give it, say, 30 pixels spacing all around. See how that looks. Put in the 30, it'll put in the pix. Hit the chain, it'll do the opposite side. We'll do the same for left and right. think I wouldn't mind it a little bit deeper. Let's up top and bottom to 50. That's great. Okay, to make this work, if you watch any of my other videos, and I've got a whole series on hover effects, we're going to put an image in the column that this is sitting in. So to do that, we'll say what we got going on with our blurb settings. Going to go back into the row, the green tab. We're working with two columns here, left and right. I'm going to go into left column, going to go into background. I'm going to go over to the third tab this time, which is image. And you may notice background again is under content there. We'll throw in the image that we want. I think I used that one. And of course you can't see it because it's behind our module here. So let's save our little column settings back into the row there, save the row. We'll go back into this module and create the hover effect itself. Dark tab for the module. To do this today, I'm going to go over to design and down to filters. If we roll down, we'll find one called opacity. Now, common to all Divi modules, if you roll over the dark writing within a module, you'll see some little icons appear. Go to the thing you want to affect, in this case opacity. If there's a little arrow, we can create a hover effect. Desktops when the mouse is not on it. I've made this image to text, so we want to see the image first. So when their mouse is not on it, I want this to be down to 0 so we can just see the image itself. It's actually still there, so if you put a link on it, you can still click on it. Then when they hover over it, I want to bring it back to full visibility so we can read the text, and click on it if you need to. Now the time it takes by default with Divi to go from one to the other is 300 milliseconds, which is just under 1/3 of a second, which works for a lot of things. I like to slow these down for a bit of grace, and you can do that over in the advanced tab here. Go down to transitions. There's the default 300 milliseconds. Let's take that up to, I don't know, close to a second, whatever works for you. I like to slow it down for a bit of grace, like I say. Don't want any delay. Want it to start to happen as soon as they put their mouse on it. And the speed curve I go to for my hover effects is easy and ease out that way. When they take their mouse off, it eases back out again. Great. Well, if we've done everything correctly, that should work for us. So we've got our little image there. When we hover over, it's going to take almost a second to fade in. And you can slow that down even more if you want to. But that's going to work for me today. It's not easing out at the moment because we're on the back end. If I was to save this, it would work perfectly on the front, and I'll demo that in a minute. But as I said earlier, this is going to work fine on desktop when people are mousing around. It's going to get their attention really quick if that sort of thing happens. But on tablet and mobile, they're not going to know to tap on it to see the information in this particular case, or to see the image when we flip it around the other way. So as a workaround, I'm going to add a new little module here. I'm going to use an icon module for this. There it is right there. Let's find something appropriate for a click, like a hand, perhaps. I think I used this one last time. And let's put that in there. Now, the reason the image is stretched down there is because we put it in the same column as we've got our blurb module in. So it's actually underneath the blurb module here. I'm going to make it white in color. I'm going to take it down in size. To do that, over to the design. There's the icon. Let's make it white in color. Size-wise, I'm going to take it maybe down to about 30 pixels. It's entirely up to you. So it's nicely visible. But I don't want it too in your face. So that white color, I'm going to take a bit of the opacity down. So it's visible, but you can get a hint of the image behind it. Something like that. But when we hover over the top bit, if I just save this a moment, when we hover over the top bit, that's going to come in, and this is going to be down here. That's not what we want at all. So let's go back into the icon. I'm going to use a bit of absolute positioning to scoot it up over here. To do that, in the icon settings, over to advanced, down to position, I'm going to change it from the default to absolute. And it's popped up to the top left corner there. And you can put it anywhere you want with this little matrix here. You can plonk it in the middle if you want to. I'm going to put mine on the bottom middle. I'm going to drag it up from the bottom just a little bit with some vertical offset here. Something like that. Do whatever works for you. Again, obviously. Now if we save this, it's almost where we want it. But when we hover over here, it's still sticking down the bottom here. And the reason this is because by default, this module's got a bit of margin on the bottom of it. So if we go into this module now, this is our blurb that we did first, over to the design, and down to spacing again. We put a 0 in the bottom of the margin up here. That shrinks it down to back to the size that it was. So now if we save this and roll over it, it's exactly the same size, which is just what we want. But I don't want to see that little tap icon where we're on the desktop. So we can hide it on desktop and just have it showing on mobile. Now if you've done this and you've positioned it and you can't get to it, you can go hit the little purple button and go to wireframe mode. I'm okay in this case, it's letting us in there, but wireframe mode will take you to the back end. Really handy thing to know. You can get into it that way and then flip back when you're happy. Just roll that back up. So for the icon, I'm going to go over to advanced. I'm going to go down to visibility this time. I'm going to disable it on desktop. So it'll kind of grey it out a little bit more on desktop. On the back end, it shows us it's there. On the front end, you will not see that, and I'll demonstrate that in a moment. But we do want to see it on tablet and mobile. So I'm going to leave it just like that. Now, before I save and demonstrate this, if you want to flip it around the other way, for anybody that hasn't figured that out yet, really easy to do. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to drag one of them over. Doesn't matter which one, they're both identical. I'm going to go into it. Let's say text to image this time. I'm going to go over to the design, down to our filters again, to our opacity. I'm going to flip it around the other way. So on desktop, if I move this over here, we can't see anything at the moment because the opacity is down and we've not got an image in the background of this column, and I'll take care of that in a moment. I'm going to take it up all the way. So we see this first, the text. And then when they hover over it, make sure you click on the hover tab. I'm going to take it down to 0, invisible. Now, of course, we want to have an image there for it to go to. So let's save our changes here. We'll go back into that column. Back into the green tab for the row. We're working on column 2 here. Background under content. Image. Pop in whatever image you want in there. I think we used this one or this one last time. Fantastic. And we want to copy that icon as well and drop it over there. So let's save the changes, save the row changes. Go back into the icon module, and you know what to do if you can't get to it. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to take one of them, doesn't matter which one again. I'm going to drop it down under here. And we've got it there as well. And we're done. We better check that this is going to work on the front end. So let's go down. I'm going to go to Save Draft or Publish if you're ready. I'm going to exit the Visual Builder. Going to roll on down. There's our first image. When we hover over, it's going to bring in the text. When I take it off, it's going to ease back out again. And you'll notice, or you may not notice because it's not there, there's no little hand icon there. And our one on the right hand side is going to start off with the text and zoom into the image and then fade back in when we take our mouse off. And let's make sure it's going to work on our tablet and mobile. So I can hit my F12 key again. Here we are on the iPad Air. Let's just move this out of the way. And you can see that little hand icon there. Click on it. It's going to change. Fantastic. Click off. It's back. Same with the bottom one. There's our little hand icon. Click on it. It's going to change the image. Click off. It's going to go back. And as we mentioned earlier, this will work on the iPhone as well. You can adjust the size of your image on phone if you want to, using padding on here. But for me, that's going to work fine. And we've got our little icon again. So that's going to change. Click off. And it'll change back. Same with our bottom one here. Fantastic. So there you go, guys. there's how to create a gradient text-to-image hover effect or image-to-text hover effect, whichever one you prefer. As you can see, really easy to do, no coding involved, and it'll work perfectly well on tablet and phone also. I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget, if you have any questions, pop them below the video. I'll do my best to answer them for you, or make a little demo video like this one. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and WebDesignAndTechTips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.